Hello Year 7, and we're ready for the next step on our Python journey. So already you've learned about the print command and you've had to play around with some variables. So you're doing really, really well. Today we're going to look at our third item, which is lists. Now lists share some of the characteristics of variables, but they can do a little bit more as well. So a list is just a way of holding information, a bit like a variable, but it can hold more than one piece of information at a time. A variable holds one piece of information, a list can hold many pieces of information all under the same name. The structure of a list is pretty similar to that of the structure of a variable. The first part, the object name. So it can only be one word, much like a variable. It can't be a reserved word, like print. So in my example, I've got the name of my list is my_list. Then I've got an assignment operator, that equals sign. And then here's where our list gets a little bit different. You've got square brackets at the start and end of your list. You've got items that are separated by commas, just like in English. And you'll notice that each of my values is stored inside speech marks or inside inverted commas. Okay, you can actually use either. Let's go and have a look at some more examples. So your list can be called anything. It can be called my list and have object 1, 2, 3, 4 in it. It could be a list of car brands like I've got there. You've got Lotto, you've got Dave. You can have pretty much any name you want. Like I said, as long as it's not one of the words that's used in Python already. You've got your assignment operator, and then in every list you've got square brackets. In fact, if you see square brackets in Python, chances are it's a list. Okay? Now you can't use the curly brackets, you can't use wavy brackets, it's got to be the square brackets. Now those of you with your eagle eyes on again will have noticed Lotto is a little different to the other lists. Have a quick look, see if you can spot it. So yeah, it contains numbers. What about those numbers? Notice that in my first list, object 1, object 2, object 3, object 4, I've got inverted commas around each item. In cars, Fiat, Ford, Honda, Toyota, BMW, they've got inverted commas around each item. But for my numbers, I don't. And that is because Python is seeing those as numbers, as integers, like we did last time out with our variables, and we were adding and taking away and multiplying using our variable values. If we give Python a number, a digit, it recognizes that as an integer. Okay, so it stores that as an integer, not as a string. A string is what we've got in all the other lists, all the text strings that are getting stored in between those inverted commas. So why would you want a list? What's so good about them? Well, with a list, you can do lots of stuff. You can sort them out by size, by alphabetical order. You can search them. You can add to your list. You can take things away from your list. You can count how many things there are in your list. There are lots of functions you can do with lists that are really useful when you're trying to make a program. There's loads of stuff. They are awesome. If we want to print a list, we use the same process as we did with a variable. So we make our list first, and then we print brackets the name of our list. Should we have a look at that now? So let's get a Python interpreter on the screen. Here we go. So first thing I'm going to do is make a list. So I'm always hungry, so it's always going to be a list of cakes for me. So I'm going to call my list cakes. Then I'm going to put equals, my assignment operator, and then it's those square brackets, not the curly ones, the square ones. Now my Python interpreter has already guessed I'm doing a list, so it's giving me the end ones as well. Now I'm going to put some of my cakes in here. So I'm going to do speech marks, and so let's start with an angel cake. Love an angel cake. And then I'm going to put comma, another set of speech marks. I love a marble cake. And then I'm going to do another one. We'll have one more. We'll have a sponge. A nice plain sponge inside the speech marks, of course. Excellent. Okay, there's my list. It only contains 3 cakes. It could contain more, but for now that will do. Then all I want to do is I want to print and in brackets the name of my object, the name of my list, cakes. And then I click run. And when you run, you can see it prints out the values of my list. Okay, there's loads more we can do with lists, but for now, what I want you to do, I want you to make some lists and try printing them out. So let's have a look at our success criteria and do that now. So, bronze, explain what a list is. What does it do? What's its job? I've gone through some of that in the video, so if you want to rewind and have a look, you can do. Also, make a list. Silver, print that list. Print the values from that list. Take a screenshot of it. Then add to your list. Now this is where I haven't shown you this. You're going to have to maybe go away and do a bit of research. Add to your list using Python code. So get them to add an item to your list. Another word for add is append. In fact, in the success criteria there, it says name of list dot append bracket bracket. That is a bit of a clue. Gold is find the length of a list. And again, I've got you some code there, len brackets name of list. See if you can use that. And then the challenge is to remove an item from your list. Okay, I've got an example here of explaining what I did to make my list. So I've got to make a list. First, I gave my list a name. I called my list cakes. I put an assignment operator. To add items to my list, I put square brackets at the start and end of my list. Each item on my list is separated by commas and has speech marks around it. There you go. There's a quick rundown on how you do it. And you can see there's an example at the bottom. So our vocab is Python, data, structure, list, and assignment operator. Best of luck, guys, and I'll see you soon.